Here with Coach Horoba at Alta. Coach, thank you so much for the time today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Want to start, just give people an opportunity to learn a little bit more about you. Tell us a little bit about your background in the game of lacrosse, how you got into it, how you got into coaching.
I actually married into a family of lacrosse. I was soccer growing up. I went and played college soccer and came home, and my wife's brother-in-laws all started Alta's program back in the mid-90s. And so when I got in, they roped me into coaching, and I've been coaching ever since 2002 at various places, and just kind of enjoying the ride. Got to coach my oldest son who played at BYU, and then I've been coaching all my other sons as well. So it's been great.
I'm curious because as I talk to people, there's a lot of people still unfamiliar with the game, still learning it, very new in terms of a sanctioned sport here in the state. How did you get into it? You talk about your background with soccer, but what did you find was kind of the best way to really learn lacrosse? And what advice would you have for people who are interested but just don't know how to understand the game better?
Yeah, it's, you got to immerse yourself in it. When I did it, when I first was starting, it was going out to, YouTube was kind of a newer thing back in the early 2000s, so it wasn't really hopping and running like it is today where you can YouTube anything. But I went out to conventions and learned from college coaches and got opportunities to sit in on seminars that were going on. So that's how I got to learn. So it's just, you got to immerse yourself in it and find something that you can sit down and learn, because it is a tough game to understand for sure. And so you've got to be willing to immerse yourself in it and try to find those places that you can utilize as avenues to instruct yourself with.
You talk about your background being more in soccer.
Yep.
I think lacrosse, not intentionally, but it's got a lot of components of other sports.
Oh, absolutely.
What would you say, if you had to describe lacrosse to a non-lacrosse person, how would you describe it? What's kind of that mix of sports that you feel like represent it?
I would say it's kind of a mix of hockey and basketball. Like we've seen basketball kids are really good because of their footwork and their understanding of like off-ball principles, defensive principles. And then it's hockey because it's played at a fast pace. And there's some physicality to it as well. So I would say that those are probably the two sports I would kind of say that are a little bit common to it.
We don't see a lot of multi-sport athletes in lacrosse yet. Is that something you think will grow, or is that something where some of the uniqueness of the game is maybe challenging?
I think we would like it. I would like to have more kids playing multiple sports, but I think sports in general are starting to become so year-round that it's hard for these kids to say, okay, I got to step away from football to go play lacrosse, or I have to step away from lacrosse to go play football. And so I think it makes it really difficult for kids to be multi-sport athletes, just because it's such a year-round commitment with so many sports these days. Everybody's following soccer, I guess.
Ruined it for everyone. Huh? We're sitting here in your beautiful indoor facility. You can see the stadium in the background. What's it like to coach at Alta? It's such a great tradition, this high school, and obviously lacrosse new across the board in terms of sanctioning. But what is it like to be a part of this community, coach here at Alta High School?
It's awesome. Support from administration, the vice principals, the principal, the athletic director, they're all very supportive. The teachers are supportive. We recognize teachers at halftime. Our seniors kind of give a little last thank you to some teachers, and they're awesome because they show up, they're willing to come out and come back to school late at night to come and watch a game that they probably don't understand. And so we get a lot of good support from the school, and we have parents that are really supportive of what we're doing, and so it's great. It's been really fun coaching at Alta, and it's been just a great experience with all of our administrators and everything and how they work with us. So it's been great.
One of the interesting things is as a coach, you have a chance to really put your imprint on a program. What is kind of a unique tradition or something that is special that you've tried to instill in Alta's lacrosse program?
Yeah, when we look at like some of our traditions, one of the things that we do on senior day is seniors start. It doesn't matter who we're playing or how important the game is. We start all of our seniors if we have enough. We had 12, so we didn't get to start 2 of them on Saturday, but we try to start all of our seniors. We try to create a culture where like this is this is your job for the next 3 months from February till May. This is what you're doing, and you've got to be committed to it. We want kids at practice. We want kids to be part of the family, if you will, and rely on one another. We do a yearly trip with our varsity group where we go. We've gone to California, we've gone to Colorado, and we try to do things. We go play games, but we also try to do things where they get to know one another. And we were there over spring break in California, just barely, and kids were like, "Oh, I didn't know this about this kid. Did you know this?" And so that's really awesome. What that's about.
You talk about family and commitment. I mean, no one knows that better. You've coached several of your sons, have played at Alta High School. What has that been like to be kind of a dad and have really talented sons playing, but also have to coach them and try to balance that relationship? How have you approached that?
It's hard. I mean, as a dad, you want to see them succeed, and as a coach, you want to see them succeed. But then there's like that dad in you that's like, you're not giving me enough, even though maybe they are giving you enough. And so it's been hard, but they've been great. I mean, all of them, my oldest son down to the youngest one, they're all great with it. I don't think they realize how fortunate I am to be able to be around them all the time. So, but they've been great with it. It is hard to be a dad and a coach at the same time. But fortunately, I have assistant coaches who will either rein me in or they go after them when they know they need to be got after. Yeah. So it's good.
I don't know. We don't hear a lot of from where we're at when we're at a game, but not uncommon, I'm sure, for coaches to hear, even fans in the stands be like, "Coach, do this, coach, do that."
Oh, yeah.
What is the most difficult aspect of coaching that maybe people who are not on the sidelines or haven't been on the sidelines don't understand or wouldn't appreciate?
Well, I think it's the newness of lacrosse, right? And so lacrosse is not a sport that has like deep roots in Utah, even though it's been around for 30 years now. It doesn't have like that because it's only been high school sanctioned since 2020, and that year was cut and short. So I think that's part of the problem. And so these parents are used to sort of like a casual environment, and it's like, no, we want to be serious. We want to be committed. And so we have kids that will miss stuff for family events and family vacations. And, the parents are like, well, why are you punishing my kid? Well, because he wasn't at practice. And so that's probably our biggest challenge, at least at Alta. I don't know how that is across the board, but I think just with some of the newness of it, it's there's just not that, football rooted in football tradition or basketball and even soccer.
You first year, you talked about being sanctioned the first time in 2020. You guys made a great playoff run. It feels like Alta Lacrosse has been really strong, and you've got another great team this year. What has really been the key as to the success in the early stage of the sport being sanctioned for your program?
Having a few kids that are good leaders, and good players, obviously, and kind of lead by example. We've been fortunate. We came in before it was sanctioned in 2017 when I got hired and brought in most of our coaches that are here now. We had a freshman class that was just a bunch of really good kids. And so as we went into that sanctioning period, they were our driving force in what our rules were and what our expectations were of all of the individuals in the team. And it was great. And so we've had success because of who the kids are, honestly.
How much of that has been you trying to help teach and train kids to lead and have them step up as leaders versus just having some of those kids that have those natural talents? And if you have trained it, what have you found to be successful principles and kind of laying that foundation for them?
Yeah, quite honestly, it's probably 75% them and 25% us. We have expectations that we set up at the beginning of the year that we tell kids these are our expectations, and then they're the ones that hold each other accountable. They know what the rules are. They know what the expectations are. They know when practices start, and if kids are showing up late, they're hustling them and yelling at them to get going. And so it's not a lot of the coaches. I mean, we're getting kids, whether they're a captain, a senior, a junior, it doesn't matter. They know what's expected, and they try to drive that with everybody.
We saw you guys play against Olympus earlier this year. Your offense was spectacular. Your D was spectacular. I mean, it was a great game for you guys. Braxton, your son, that guy throws some heat.
Yeah.
How fast is his shot?
We haven't clocked it in a long time. I would say he's probably in the mid 80s that he's shooting. Low 80s is where he's shooting if he gets his full body behind it.
What do you think is his greatest strength that he brings to your team?
His lacrosse IQ. He is a lacrosse rat. Watches lacrosse all day, watches games, sees what's happening at the college level, watches high school games, and he just loves watching it. And so his lacrosse IQ, his older brother might kill me, but he probably has a better lacrosse IQ than his older brother did as a senior.
You said that.
But yeah, that's probably what he brings to the table. And then he's shifty, and he's 6'3", he can scan over everybody, and then like you said, his shot is pretty impressive.
As we were preparing for that game, we talked with Olympus, and they actually said they were trying to figure out how to take away JJ Massey. A guy who maybe isn't the headliner, but man, that kid is super talented.
Absolutely.
Talk about what he's brought to your squad this year.
He's just got a toughness. I mean, he's a multi-sport athlete. He plays hockey, and I think some of that hockey, you got to be tough to play hockey. And so I think he brings a toughness to us. He brings another power dodger, a guy that can get by people or fight through checks and get open. He does a really, really good job with it. And so I know that, there's people that we can count on out there, and he's one of them for sure.
Who's a player on this team that maybe doesn't get talked about a lot, that you feel like, man, he's a glue guy, or he brings a real element that you may not see in a box score, or you may not see in an article somewhere, but who's that guy who just does everything right, is kind of exemplifies what you want Alta Lacrosse to be?
Yeah, it would probably be, for me, it'd probably be a kid like Sam Fredley. He's defender for us, just consistent, high energy guy. He's not a captain, but he's a leader by his actions, and he likes to be, at the front of the line. He likes to be in front of be the vocal guy and try to get people excited and things like that. And, he dishes out a big hit in a practice, and he'll reach his hand out to pick the kid up, and he takes a big hit and gets up and doesn't say anything about it and just kind of deals with it. I mean, he's probably that guy that I think nobody really knows who he is, and he's having a really good year for us, and that's somebody that I would say is probably that kid.
In this region, you need that with how good Region 6 is. What is it like to coach in this region where you've got the likes of Brighton and Park City, Highland, East has been great this year, Olympus down here, yet they're still top. What is it like to coach in this region?
It's rough. I mean, each game is, you can't take a game off, right? And these kids know it. I think the hardest part for us is finding that balance at practices as we're leading into these big games. Like, how hard do we go at practice, or how easy do we go? If we go too easy, did they come out flat in the game? And a lot of great coaches that are really good tactically with what they do and some of their adjustments they make and things like that. And it's a rough region, and all four teams are at the top of the RPI for a reason. So with Alta, Brighton, Olympus, and Park City. So
a state champion come out of this region?
I would think so, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to ask you who, but I would agree with you. I think the state champion comes out of this region.
I would think so, yeah.
What's your advice for kids who have dreams of playing high school lacrosse or college lacrosse? What would you tell them to help them focus on achieving that goal?
I think it's just, you got to do some work outside of being at practice. You got to do some work outside of the normal routine. This doesn't require hours upon hours every week, but if you can pick up a stick for 10 minutes and throw against a wall and have good stick skills, you're going to be that much better. We tell our kids all the time that your stick skills are going to keep you on or off the field. And if they're good, they're going to keep you on. If they're not good, they're going to keep you off. And so I would say, have your stick in your hand, take every opportunity to play when you can, even just in the backyard with a friend throwing the ball around, or they used to play fiddlesticks a lot when I was coaching earlier, kind of a little small goal with a little soft ball, and I don't see kids doing that anymore. And so that's the things that I would say, kids, if you're going to get good at this, you got to have a stick in your hand and be practicing.
Awesome. Coach, we really appreciate the time.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.